Hello and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you're new, I'm Corie. Welcome to my channel, and if you're returning, thank you as always for being here. Your support means more to me than I can ever tell you. Today is a minis challenge. I am super excited. I've got a bunch of new minis, and I'm going to show you how I made this tiered tray. I love it. This is also part of a playlist, so tons of inspiration. More about that in just a minute. So let's go ahead and get right on into the crafting. DIY number one. All right, I have these candlesticks that they were actually two each, and I had already glued them together a long time ago before I even started my YouTube channel. Then I have a couple of little glass pieces. This is actually a candle originally that I kept, some burner covers from the Dollar Tree, and then a pizza pan from the Dollar Tree. And you can see how they're kind of gradual sizes. So these are going to be perfect for a tiered tray. I opted to go with that glass candle holder, whatever you want to call it, because it was wider and I figured it'd be more stable. And this is how I'm going to build up the tiered tray. So to get this all started, I'm going to be looking for the center for each of my pieces because I want to make sure that my tiered tray is as lined up as it can possibly be. So I've got a piece of parchment paper that I'm working with, and I've got it folded in quarters to find the middle. And now I'm reaching for my Sharpie. So of course it was like sliding. So I'm finding my center again. And I'm going to go ahead and mark this with my Sharpie just so I know where the center point is. And I did grab out my ruler and just check myself here to make sure that I was on center and all was well. I measured it a couple of different ways just to make sure. So then I was starting to look at the glass piece, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to do my burner covers first. So I traced the one burner, the larger burner cover out on the parchment. Just folded that a couple of different ways to make sure it was all lined up. My center was actually my center. And then I used that to mark off again because I could see through the parchment, right? So I was able to kind of use it that way. And then I used that as kind of a little bit of a guide as to where to put my candlestick. You probably don't need to do that initial. You know, if you line it up with your ruler and just check all the sides. And I'm just literally marking it on each of these pieces so that I know where to put it back down when I go to glue it. And I'm fine with that because I don't, I'm going to be painting it. So with the glass piece, I don't know if you noticed, I had a little dot in the middle of that also, and I just lined the two dots up since I could see right through the glass piece. It made it really easy. I'm going to use my E6000. The lid was kind of glued shut, so I just used my needle nose pliers to help get that open again. And I'm going to apply some E6000 around the entire perimeter of my piece. This is the bottom of the piece. And then I'm going to put a bunch of hot glue in the middle so that I'll have that instant bond, but then also the long-term hold. Now, you want to make sure that you leave this sit for several hours at least, preferably overnight. I ended up trying to pick it up the wrong way before it was completely dry, and I smashed the bottom of it on the floor and ended up having to use a different piece for my base. So do as I say, not as I do. But at any rate, I am using hot glue and E6000 on these as well. I was kind of off camera when I was doing that, so I apologize for that. But essentially every other, you're going to see it here, every other little side edge, I'm doing the E6000. And then I'm going to come in on the other ones that I left blank with my hot glue. And I'm going to add hot glue to those alternating areas. And I'm doing the E6000 first because it obviously takes a lot longer to dry than the hot glue does to cool, especially when working with glass and metal. So I want to make sure that I'm working quickly with the hot glue. And I know you can't see that, but I really just put it right back down where I had it all marked off originally. So I'm marking off this side because I forgot to do it before I had gotten everything set, and I was kind of twisting it around because I was looking at the other one that was already in place and making sure that they were going to be nice and lined up. Because again, I want this all to be nice and straight and even, and I want all of my different levels to be centered. So that was the method to my madness. And I just did that until it was all put together, and I gave it a couple of good coats of white chalk paint. Let me know what you think. And as I mentioned, this is Minnie's Challenge Day, and so there is a full playlist full of inspiration. I hope that you'll check it out and give everyone some love. DIY number 2. All right, this is a little sign from the Dollar Tree. It's something I picked up over the holidays, and I've got a piece of scrapbook paper that is the same type of pattern as the edges of the peace sign. I just traced over, traced out the same shape, and I'm going to be applying this over top of the piece. I was having issues with my double-sided tape. I finally got it to work, but I wasn't going to torment you with having to watch me do that. But I'm just using some double-sided tape because I didn't want the bulk of the hot glue in there. I wanted it to be nice and smooth. And now this is a piece of watercolor paper. I'm using my ruler and I'm tearing it down to size. So I tore the one side, and now I'm going to measure where I need to do the next tear. I'm pretty much leaving one little square of that gingham check around all of the edges for my border. Hopefully that makes sense. And by ripping it like this, it's giving it kind of a little bit of a ragged edge, which I thought was a really nice touch. I kind of like that torn paper look. And using the ruler, obviously, it's helping me to make sure it's being done in a straight line. And it's a subtle tear. It's not like a really severe jagged edge. So now I have these stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I have a few giveaways for you today. This is one of them. If you leave me a comment, I will put you in the drawing to receive one of these sticker packs. This turned out so cute. I absolutely love it. So hopefully you'll enjoy it too. And then I'm going to be cutting out some of these words. These are rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to be cutting out several different words here, and I'll be lining them up on my little piece. I cut out forever in 2 different fonts because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, so I'm very visual. If you've followed me for any amount of time, you know that I've got to see things before I commit. I finally landed on that one. And then I'm just going to go ahead, make sure I have them lined up where I want them before I start laying them down. They still have the backing on them right now. So I'll go ahead and peel these off. I will set them down very carefully. They are a little bit sticky once you remove that backing. So you want to be careful not to press on them until you have them exactly where you want them, because they will stick to your surface and then you can't get it up again because parts of it will stay put. So once I had it all set, you can see me just kind of pressing them down. That's not enough for them to be fully adhered though, so I'm using my burnishing tool, making sure that I'm rubbing it. You could use a credit card or a debit card or something like that. You could use a coin. When I was a kid and I used to use rub-on transfers, I used to use like a pen or a pencil so I could see which parts I had rubbed off. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. You can see I'm also using my fingernail here in a few places where it was coming up when I was pulling the film away. So just take your time and just make sure that it's all nice and adhered as you lift it. And if some of it's coming up with your film, just put it right back down and rub that piece again. So I'm going to apply a few more flowers. These are called pop-up stickers because they're kind of three-dimensional in that they've got pieces of cardstock of the image that are kind of popped up. I don't know how else to explain it, but I think they're really cool. You can see that one flower I decided that was too large for what I was trying to do. So now I'm using some of the smaller ones to actually build up my little potted flower. And it's going to look like it was all that same piece, but it was a few different pieces. Just decorating this a little bit more until it looks nice to my eye. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply it to my piece, but I'm going to use pop-up tape. I think that's what it calls. Pop dots. I think it's pop dots. I don't know. They're from the Dollar Tree as well. It's kind of like a foam double-sided tape. So it's got a little bit of a lift to it. So I applied a whole bunch of them, and then I removed the backing, and I'll just set this right down once I have it lined up. And that is it. I think this is adorable though. Let me know what you think. DIY number 3. All right, this is from the Dollar Tree as well. It's this cute little house shape that is fabric on the one side with that gingham print. On the reverse, I am painting it with my Adirondack white chalk paint. I'm making sure that I'm getting all of the edges as well, and just being really careful that I'm not getting it on the front side of the piece, because I want to keep that as is. Now I have some stickers from the Dollar Tree. These are, I think they're like 2-inch letters, if I had to guess. I did not measure them, but they're about that size. And I've cut out an H, an M, and an E. And now I have some additional rub-on transfers. This is also a pack that I'm going to be giving away. So you can see it there on the side. It's got the whole alphabet, and it's got different little floral and greenery rub-ons as well. But I'm going to be using those to create a little wreath shape for my O. So applying the stickers here, just making sure again that I'm getting them all nice and even and lined up. And I'm not pressing down too hard until I'm certain that they're where I want them, so that I can kind of lift them up a little bit and correct myself as needed. So applying the H, then I'll apply the E, and then I will start doing the rub-on for the little wreath shape. I had thought about doing the wreath in green. I do still have some of the really popular, it was like eucalyptus leaf type rub-on transfers the Dollar Tree had done. But I found that they were a little bit larger and not quite as delicate as these. So I ultimately opted to go with just the black and white theme for this. So I'm going to do them one at a time, because I need to be able to pick up my film without having it interfere with anything else I'm trying to lay down. So just going to take my time and do these one at a time until I create that wreath shape, and just keep layering them until I got them the way that I wanted them in my little O. So once that was done, I decided to decorate the top of it. So I've got a couple of more rub-on transfers there from the same pack. And now this is a different pack. This is, and I'm not sure if these are little wolves or fox, or I don't know. They're a sweet little couple. And I thought, I don't know. I just thought it was nice. So I'm going to apply that to the top as well. These, again, are all rub-on transfers. You can see I'm trying very hard not to press down on the top of them until I have them situated, because they will stick. So rubbing those on, and now I've got some raffia that I'm going to use just around the base of the roof here to just finish off this cute little project. I'm going to wrap it around a few times, and then I'll just tie it off over on the left side. I'm just going to use a simple little knot. This raffia is also from the Dollar Tree. It came in a pack of 3 little bundles, and that's it. DIY number 4. Okay, I have another one of these. Instead of a heart shape, it has more of like a label shape. And I've got another pack of stickers from the Dollar Tree. These are also those kind of three-dimensional ones. Because they were so dark, I did decide that I wanted a lighter color again, but I didn't want to do everything in white. So I opted for pool. This is pool chalk paint, and I gave it a couple of really good coats using my heat gun to dry it. And now I have some, I don't know if you would call this, it's kind of like a woven twine ribbon. This is also from the Dollar Tree. What would you call this ribbon? I don't know. It's kind of burlappy, but it's not burlap because it's got a couple of different things going on with it. But I just think it's super pretty. This design makes me think more of like a shabby chic kind of style. But again, I thought it turned out super sweet. Applying some more of that ribbon along the bottom just to kind of give myself some structure, and taking some of the little house stickers, and I'm going to line them up here on my little house. Of course, I didn't have it perfectly straight, so I'm just carefully adjusting it, getting it all straightened out, and then I'll apply 2 more little house shape stickers on either side. Just making sure those lay down. I thought that this wreath shape might fit up at the top, but it ultimately ended up being a little bit too big. So I just put it back on there, and I decided to use this other one that says life on it. And then I went ahead and finished off the roof with some more of that ribbon, just using hot glue to secure all of that. Just a thin bead of hot glue for all of those areas. And now on the other side, I decided that I did want to add a little something else to that label shape. But because, again, the dark background, I felt like I didn't want the black to be the background. It needed something that was going to help it pop. So I went ahead and added the pool to that label, and then also to the roof line. Originally, and like on the last one, I was going to just leave it the natural wood color, but I ultimately went ahead and painted it pool color, and then I can go ahead and add my little sticker to that again. So now I've got a double-sided tiered tray little sign. And now it's time for a shout out timeout. Nice, Kathy. These are super sweet. I absolutely love them. Thank you for sharing. And I would love to share your projects as well and give you a shout out. If you have interest, just send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 5. Okay, these are 2 little wood rectangles. They came in a pack of 6. I think I got these from the Hobby Lobby, but I honestly can't remember. And then I've got some Dollar Tree little wood squares. I'm going to just create this little A-frame sign so it stands up on my tray by itself. I started to grab my hot glue and then realized I really needed to put some parchment paper under there. If you are wondering why parchment, it's because the hot glue won't stick to it. I can peel it right up off of there if I need to. So I've applied a pretty generous amount of glue to the little wooden blocks, and then along the top edge of what is becoming my sign, and just kind of smooshing all of that together. I noticed that my little blocks were a little off-center, so I did tuck a third one in there, and so now I'm just adding some glue to kind of make sure that that's secure and everything else is in place where need be, and I'm just kind of making sure that the base is nice and flat. And then I'm going to grab some sandpaper. This is a very fine grit, and I'm just going to sand off the edges because they were a little bit rough, and just make sure that none of it's going to splinter on me. And then just making sure the bottom is nice and flat. This is my celery chalk paint. I'm giving the whole sign one good coat of the celery chalk paint. And then once that's dry, I'm grabbing my stickers again and adding on this Home Sweet Home sticker. Are you kind of seeing a theme here with the home? This week is anything goes, so anything kind of went here. But I've got this other pack of stickers. This is another giveaway. So this is the third pack of stickers that is up for grabs. So just a reminder, make sure you leave me a comment if you want to be in on the drawing. And let me know which of these projects is your favorite. Let me know what you think of these stickers. I just think that they are so sweet. I've actually had them in my stash for at least a year. It might be 2 years because I hadn't been able to figure out what I wanted to do with them. I really love them, but I just was struggling with how to incorporate them into my crafting. So I was really excited that I had some ideas for them finally. So just getting that nice and lined up and making sure that it's secured down. And that is it for this little piece, but let me know what you think of this one. DIY number 6. All right, I have tissues for this one. I have a couple of paint markers and some floral wire. I took 4 Kleenex and I'm going to just get them all nice and lined up. And once I have them all lined up, I'm going to cut them all right down the middle. So now I'm going to do an accordion fold from top to bottom and just making sure that everything is nice and lined up. I'm trying to make my accordion fold as small as I can. And once I have it all folded there, I'm going to be grabbing a piece of my floral wire. It doesn't need to be a very long piece, just something long enough that I can wrap it around the middle of my little fan that I created and twist it off and just make sure that it's all nice and secure. So once I have that done, I kind of bent all of the fan part all up towards itself, right? I'm just grabbing a piece of scrap paper and to get my paint pen started again, paint marker started, and I'm just kind of using the edge of it to hit all of the edges of the tissues. It does not need to be perfect. I am not aiming for perfect. And then I did go ahead and run some of this along the folded edges of the Kleenex. But again, I'm not looking for this to be perfect. Very little in life is perfect, right? So going to, set that aside to just make sure that the paint is dry, and then do the same thing with this other one, but with a different color. I'll set that aside now, and I'm going to peel apart all of the layers of the Kleenex here. So I have the 4 Kleenex, but they're all double ply, so I'm going to literally pull the plies apart as well. And you want to be really gentle with this because obviously it's only Kleenex and it will tear very easily. You could also do this with tissue paper if you prefer, and tissue paper would have a little bit more stability, is that the right word? It would be a little bit stronger, I suppose is a better way to say it. But look at this, it looks like such a sweet little carnation. I love this so much, and you can do it in all different colors. Here obviously I've done a pink and a pale lilac color, or you can leave them plain. I did a couple of extras that were plain. And here we are with the final reveal. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the projects, remember to give me a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know which one was your favorite. Remember, you gotta leave me a comment so you can get in on the drawing. Don't miss out. I will be sending these out. And remember again that this is part of a playlist, so check out the description box for a link to the playlist. Tons of inspiration. I hope you'll go and give them all some love. And until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.